Time I get the mic screwed up. Ah, jeez. I can't make an adjustment right this minute. Maybe like that. Yeah, that might work. That might work. That might work. I always screw this damn microphone up. That's all your fault. Idiot. Quit touching the microphone. From the WDWL TV Multiplex, live from our brand new studio, with great anticipation, we bring you the pride of the station, the grumpy old man, namely me, and the grumpy disco dumbass vulture. Would you like to take a bow? I know. Now, don't screw it up. Don't screw it up. Don't screw it up. Oh, okay, fairly decent. Okay, you only got to wear this 3.5 weeks now. Oh, your spotlight ain't on. There you go. You got your spotlight on. Hey, look who's here. Oh, you nailed that one. I'm going to have to look for kind of an obscure one. How things go with the weather? We were kind of concerned yesterday. Matter of fact, it was just me and Jenny. Oh, it just, as a matter of fact, it got here about 35 minutes ago, and I was like, oh, God, I want to use it. And it's a pain in the ass because, I got 12, 15 clips up here, and then it's got to go behind all this shit, and then I got to get it centered right, about halfway, I was like, oh, screw it. And then I was like, well, I'm halfway. Yeah, believe it or not, $2.25 on clearance. There were 3 left. It seems like with Temu, they'll get, the price will be like $7. And there'll be 15 left, and they drop it to 5. And then there'll be 10 left, and they drop it to 4. And then when they get, 3 or 4, it gets ridiculous. And this one, I was like, holy shit, look at how nice this one is. For that price, I'm buying it. Did the flooding hit you? We were thinking because you were gone yesterday, it might have been like a power outage. Although, like Jenny and I were talking, we said, hopefully everything is safe. That's all we cared about, You can replace cars and wood and furniture, but skin, a little tough. Oh yeah, I was looking again today to see if they had any more backgrounds cheap. Like I need more. Jesus Christ, I got 25 of them now. Although, wait until you see. I got four. I was gonna originally this morning. Because I've got 4 sitting in the package, and I was going to put one of the 4 up, and then I checked my mail, and it said out for delivery, and I was like, gee, that tracking number don't look right, because I never think to follow the tracking numbers on Temu. I follow them on eBay. So I said, I wonder if that's my Temu shipment. And sure enough, it was. And I was like, we're going to put up the brand new studio background. I don't know. As much as I like this, we may never see those other 4. I mean, this one's cool. I just, when I spotted it, immediately, I bought it. There was no second thinking, like, like I need another background. I was like, for $2.25? Holy crap. So I tell you what, I'm amazed at how nice this one looks. Tomorrow, maybe what I'll do is I'll kill the red filters and put some more white into it. Although I don't want to blow it away, because sometimes the white light blows the color of the background out. Now, I over here with dickhead, this dickhead, I have a gentle blue filter over in this side. So I got to play with some lighting. But I spotted that. And, a lot of times it looks good on Temu. And then when you get it, it's washed out. I got one that I literally threw away because it was so washed out, and Temu refunded me my money because I said, this thing looks like somebody bleached it about 12 times. But when I opened this one, I was like, oh, I got to put it up. It does. Because of the optical seclusion, because it's, and believe it or not, that's flat. My buddy finds it hard to believe that this is nothing more than a flat piece of cloth behind me. He thinks that when it's angled like that I angle the unit it's hanging on. I said, I can't. It's not like that thing twists. But this one, out of all the studio ones that I've got, this one is the best. Well, yeah. I've got one other one that's almost as nice, but it's a little too dark. This one, perfect. And we won't be seeing Nomad probably for a while. We're too late for him. He emailed me and explained, when he has to do that thing like work, and he has been quite busy, that we start at midnight now. And he said that's just, so he's going to try to pop in maybe like a Friday night or a Saturday night, depending on how busy he is. But I'm glad that he's busy. but I miss him. I miss him. I miss Neckbeard. Wyatt, he didn't show up last night. It was just me and Jenny last night. I'll show you something else that arrived. Oh. My trackball mouse. It's a generic. It's not Logitech. But it got here today, too. Man, are these things touchy. Holy shit. I just barely touch it with my thumb and the goddamn cursor goes across the screen. I really got to get used to this thing. But it's cool. Wireless, rechargeable. It was like Christmas today. I got my background. I got my switches I ordered. I got to install a lock on one of my dresser drawers. So I got the lock unit and the window tint. I ordered window tint kits for my RAV4 and hopefully my BW Passat. I still haven't heard anything from his son yet. Oh yeah, and my retro alarm clock. It's battery powered. It glows in the dark, plus it has a light. You probably won't be able to see it. So that I can check the time. My other alarm clock, it's got one of those it's all electronic. And you can't adjust the volume. And it goes like eek, 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 eek. I need something that makes noise. Yeah, $10.95 off of eBay. I thought it was cool. It reminds me of the one my grandparents had. Because this is the kind that they had. Of course, theirs was wind up, But it sounds just like theirs. Takes me back. Yeah, it was like Christmas. Like my birthday. Almost as good as all that free sausage I got. And hot dogs and buns. And I just don't know. Well, I was going to say I don't know how it could get any better, but if somebody left a Rolls Royce in my driveway, I wouldn't bitch. And I'm trying to catch my buddy up the street, my old high school teacher. I see a brand new Lincoln in his driveway. I don't know if his is in for service or if he bought a new car. It's got a dealer tag on it, so I tend to think that it's a loaner. I'll tell you what, he has no luck with these new Lincolns. He had a, what the hell year was that one? I think it was a 21. He had it 2 years, and something internal in the engine let go. So they said, well, we'll do one of two things. We'll warrant you an engine, or we'll give you a hell of a deal on a trade-in. So then he bought the one that he's got now. I think it's an Aviator. Yeah, it's not the Navigator. I think it's the Aviator, the one step down. And the Lincoln, yeah, I told him, I said, maybe Lincoln don't like you. Because he had a 19. Lincoln, I think it was a Nautilus. And the transmission let go. So, he upgrades, he gets a new one, and then the engine lets go. I hope he didn't have any major problem with, maybe his is in for oil change and so on and so forth, tune up. If he tells me something let go in that thing, I'll give him my sister's phone number. Because if the engine let go, she builds the engines. He can call her at home and say, hey, you screwed my motor up. I would not own one of these new goddamn cars. I'll tell you. I hear so many problems with them and so expensive to fix. And, these plastic front ends and rear ends, they call them covers because the bumper is actually underneath, which is the bar. And then that big plastic. Today when I was up at the store, a guy pulled in a Toyota van. And the front bumper was gone, the cover. And basically it was the bumper bar, radiator, and two headlights. That piece of plastic was so huge on the front end of that thing. And, sometimes all you do is tap them goddamn things and they fall off. And it's nothing but a big chunk of goddamn plastic. That's like Marianne, she's got what the hell kind of Hyundai has she got? It's a little red thing. It's about the size of my shoe. And she went through the car wash with it. And the brush snapped a clip on the edge of her front bumper cover. And she went and she bought a new clip. And she asked me if I would fix it. Well, what happened is the inner fender, which is also plastic, where the clip snaps in, it broke. Now, you would think going to the dealer to buy the clip for the bumper cover, they would have come out and looked and went, oh. So I told her, I said, Marianne, this ain't going to hold. And she says, well, what can I do? I said, well, do you have any red fingernail polish? She says, yeah. I said, the only way I can keep the corner of that bumper on is if I run a screw through the bumper cover into the metal clip that's back behind that inner fender. And she was thinking, a screw. I said, Marianne, a little. So I ended up drilling a hole, ran a sheet metal screw through. It pulled the bumper cover over. She come out with her fingernail polish. I said, there, you can hardly see it. And it's stronger than the factory. And, these taillights on these cars are all LEDs. You don't replace a bulb anymore. So if your LEDs burn out, you have to replace the whole fucking taillight assembly. And those things are $200-300. I was like, Jesus. I'll stick with my shit box. If I get this Passat, first of all, it's probably the last vehicle I'm going to own because I would drive it into the ground, but I just keep my fingers crossed that it don't need a ton of work. I can't drive it for a year anyway because it's an '01. So I can't register it until it's 25 years old. Well, I could, but if there's a check engine light on, so I'll leave it sit for a year. I don't care. It's been sitting for 5 years across the street. Oh, I had some neat Lincolns back in the day. I had a 64, which was the style of Kennedy's presidential limousine, convertible. Oh, that was the neatest car because it had the 4 doors, the suicide door in the back, and when you put the top down, that car looked like it was 40 feet long. And then the top went haywire. It went halfway up one day and stopped. And I was like, well, this ain't good. So I was finally able to get it down, but we could never put the top down again. And then some guy offered me a ridiculous price and I sold it. We used to call them land yachts. Of course, back in the day, they were. You needed a navigation unit in order to park the thing, and it never failed. You'd see one of these land yachts pulling into a parking lot, and there'd be a little old lady driving it who could barely see through the steering wheel. Seniors always had to buy the biggest goddamn car they could get their hands on. Me, I'll stick with my little foreign shit boxes. This morning, I was watching a YouTube streamer called Fridays with Frank. I love him because he's a cop out in Arizona, I think. He's a deputy sheriff. And he handpicks certain websites and he'll show arrests and so on. And then he tells you what the YouTube site is. Well, today he had a couple of interesting videos he showed. And it's called Cop Cam Max on YouTube. Cop Cam Max. I recommend everybody go watch some of the bullshit that's on there. One is entitled Going Full Hot Crazy. 21-year-old brat loses it after arrest. You got to watch this. Cop Cam Max. It's the newest video up, although they post daily. This little bitch at 21 years old evidently never had anyone say no to her, including her mother. She just spewed profanity after profanity and profanity at these cops and demanding and fight. You know, I would not be in law enforcement in this day and age because the shit that she was spewing at these officers was, I'll tell you what, if I'd have been one of them officers, I'd have beat the fuck out of her. I recommend Cop Cam Max and go look at this one. Going full hot crazy. 21-year-old brat. And then they gave her like 8 charges. And these goddamn pansy prosecutors threw almost every one of them out. And she got a little slap on the hands. And then there were a couple of others. This woman was every other word was fuck out of her mouth. And the hotel she was in was a ritzy hotel. They finally threw her out. And she's out there bitching at the cops and it's fuck this and fuck that, fuck that, fuck. And then she don't understand why they're throwing her out. And then starts a fight with the cops. So they hit her with like 7 charges. And because she hired a big buck, prominent attorney, they intimidate the prosecutors. And she got off with like goddamn couple hours of anger management and some community service when she should have got a goddamn felony. There was another one. Oh, yeah, that 21-year-old got put on a therapeutic monitoring program. A therapeutic monitoring program. I never heard of it. And then there was one. Oh, talk about disgusting. This kid was, I think, 28 years old. He had a rap sheet that went back to age 13. Now, he had murdered a couple of people, and the goddamn prosecutor kept dropping the charges down to next to nothing. He served like 0 jail time. I mean, what the hell do we pass laws for? Why do we elect prosecutors? Why do we build prisons when they let everybody off? And then the criminals get worse and worse and worse because they never pay a penalty for anything. Go to Cop Cam Max and watch the videos on that site. And it'll be enough to make you puke. When you see at the end, when they say what the sentence was. These goddamn prosecutors, I'll tell you what, if I was in those towns, I'd run them guys out on a rail. And if you look up therapeutic monitoring program. You can't get therapeutic monitoring program. It's like therapeutic drug program or something. You can't get an explanation for what it is. I was getting sick to my stomach watching them videos and seeing the slap on the hands that goddamn murderers got, and that, the, this one guy carjacked a little old lady with an AK 47, and he was already a felon, and they threw the gun charge out when it came to the plea deal. I was like, what? He was already a convicted felon that had used a gun. He serves his time, which was like 3 years. He no sooner gets out and he carjacks a little old lady, and they throw the gun charge out. I was like, who's sleeping with that prosecutor? And then they wonder why the police don't bother making arrests. If I was a cop following a case like that, and I saw the way the prosecutor handled, I'd say, screw it, I ain't arresting anybody anymore. They're only going to be out on the street with a slap on the hands. What was Mom's opinion? Did she say, I'm not listening to that asshole anymore, unsubscribe? I probably shocked the shit out of her. She probably told Jenny, next time I see you, I'm turning you over my knee for watching him. Yeah, we had Jenny's mom in here last night. Matter of fact, it was Kathleen something. And I thought maybe you had a second account, Kathy. And I said, I don't recognize that. And then Jenny went, that's my mom. I was like, whoop, okay, sorry. See, I have another account. I haven't used it since I opened it. I don't know why I opened two at once. Well, I know why I opened the second one, but I never went through with what I was going to do. And I thought maybe you had a second account, Kathy, and you were trying to screw with me. I was like, I don't recognize that. And Jenny was like, that's my mother. Sorry. I was like, sorry, Mom. Well, that's what I've turned it into that. Because I have more fun interacting with you guys in the chat than just going on with some topic and ignoring everybody, I wanted to make this a fun channel. I wish we could get more people, but hey, it's like we're sitting around the kitchen table having a cup of coffee with some weird asshole neighbor. My two friends from high school, Her and her husband don't understand me. They watched one YouTube. I don't even. She told me what the topic was that night. She was like, "Why do you waste your time? Can't you do something more constructive?" I was like, "I didn't put a gun to your head and make you watch me. What do you care?" Yeah, she's like, "Can't you do something more constructive with your life? You're 73, you're not a little kid." I said, "Well, neither are you." And then I reminded her she was 73, and she goes, "Hey, don't tell me about my age." And her husband's laughing at the other side of the table. I could hear him. He probably got smacked. She rules the roost in that house. I feel sorry for Eddie. He used to go to Vegas twice a year for, I think he went for a week, because he likes to play poker. He'd go out there and then after time she was like, "Can't you find poker players around here? There's got to be a poker club somewhere. You don't need to be spending all that money." I told her, I said, "It's the only way he could get away from you for a week." I heard about that one. But she calls me every Sunday at noon. And we've been doing this for, God, years. Years. Every Sunday at noon. We have stayed in touch since graduation. And I think we're the longest group out of our graduating class that stayed in touch like this. You know, over the years, especially with Faceplant, people reconnected. From the day we graduated, we never stopped our. And it amazes some of our other classmates. They're like, "Really?" I said, "Yeah, we've been in touch every Sunday since 1970. And if she can't, for some reason, call me on Sunday, she'll call me on Monday. But we never go without talking to each other every week. And it's been like that since 1970. We're all growing old together. But there are probably a handful of my classmates that I've reconnected with over Faceplant, and we email back and forth at least once a week. But as far as Ed and Joyce and I, it was like graduation, and it just kept going. They live in one of those, what the hell did she call it? Clusters. And it's got an HOA. Some of the rules. I was like, and you have to pay into this monthly, and they dictate, you can't cut your lawn like before 9 a.m. and you can't cut it after 5 p.m. And, oh, geez. You can't leave your car parked in your driveway overnight unless you get permission. I was like, Jesus. Tell me I can't park my car in the driveway. It's got to be in the garage. Well, back in the day when we actually wrote letters, every now and then I'll sit down and write a letter just to keep the post office busy. I got one friend that doesn't do email or faceplant. So once a month, I sit down and write a letter, and he writes one back. He still has a flip phone. No texting, none of that. He don't believe in it. Doesn't own a computer. You know, in this day and age, it's almost like mandatory. Because no matter what you do, you know, they ask you, what's your email? And you say, I don't have one. You know, take a look at your utility companies. You got to have an email. My internet provider, you got to have an email. You open an account with a store, you got to have an email. An email today is like our Social Security numbers back when we were young. You got to have an email. I don't know how people survive. I really don't. Without a smartphone or a computer, a tablet, you know. God, if my computers went down, I'd go berserk. They'd have me in a straitjacket in a day. I live on mine. And internet, I mean, that's how I get my TV. I got my Roku TV. I don't pay for no cable. Every now and then Spectrum, they'll call, you know, are you sure you wouldn't like to, you know, get on our, now it's streaming cable. You don't even put a box in your house anymore. You have streaming cable. I said, I have streaming Roku. I don't need streaming cable. Yeah, there's certain programs I miss, but I've gotten over it. You know, in the beginning, when I shit canned cable, like National Geographic and National Geographic Wild, oh, I was going through withdrawal. You get over it. As a matter of fact, the amazing thing is, I probably watch YouTube more than anything because I can get my different murder shows, my interrogations. Yeah, I love watching that stuff. And if I don't want to watch that, you go in the search bar and now YouTube has movies. and not premium. I'm on standard YouTube. I won't pay for premium. Somebody's always, we want your money. Well, my wallet wants my money too. It's like I ran up to my Indian store today. I had to get smokes. And little Pixie was helping Mommy put merchandise away in the back of the store. And I heard her say something. But she's got such a soft little voice. Well, she knows I usually get my coconut cookies. Well, I got my coconut cookies the other day. What she did was she asked Mom to give her a pack of coconut cookies. She come running up to the store with the cookie. Funny man, I got cookie. Funny man, I got your cookie. I said, oh, okay, thank you. And then I told her father, just kind of put it behind the counter. I got my cookies the other day. She is a trip, that little one. Oh, my God. I keep forgetting to ask him how old she is. As soon as I come in, boy, and I didn't think she saw me because I just walked in and walked up to the counter. And then I heard her little voice in the back. She must have been saying, Mom, cookies. Get the cookies. She come running up. I didn't have the heart to say no to her, so I said to Dad, just put them behind the counter and kind of hide them until she's not around and then put them back on the shelf. It makes it fun going in that store. It really does, because I never know what's going to happen when I go in there. And I have to make sure I don't swear when I go in there. One day I come in swearing, and she was asking Mom, what's he saying? What's he saying? Mom was like, never mind. One of these days she'll be rattling off a bunch of swear words. It'll be my fault. I forget that she's over in the corner. You know, they have this long counter in the front of the store. And at the end of the counter, she's got her little desk over there. But it's just below the counter and I can't see. And I forget she's over there. And sometimes I'll come in and I'll rattle off some swear words and I'm like, uh-oh. Some little ears. And her desk is always neat as a pin. Her pencils are all lined up perfectly straight. She's got, I think it's a Pikachu, I think she said it was. Little stuffed animal in the corner of the desk over here. Her little tray with her papers over here. And then, you know, her laptop. And she's always in a dress. Even though she's doing her schoolwork in the store, she's always in a dress. And it's an Indian dress. And some of the outfits, oh my God, she's cute as a bug. And then on Sunday, when they go to church, oh, they're all decked out. Yeah. But it does my heart good seeing that are making a go of that store. And they have a big customer base because that store over the years has changed hands so many times. Mismanagement but I'll tell you one thing. I have never seen a store as spotless as this place is. You could almost eat off the floor. They are constantly cleaning, and merchandise is just perfect on the shelf. They started getting in like quilts and comforters. And I noticed that back in the corner, they're kind of making it a quilt and comforter area. One of these days, I'm going to have to go back and check the price. I'll look at it and go, holy shit, these are expensive. You want deal? Yeah, I want deal. Like with my rice cooker. I took it off the shelf one day. I was like, maybe $40. The one brother, the older one, that he likes me more than his younger brother. He said, what do you look at back there? I said, rice cookers. You like rice? I said, yeah, on occasion, You know one cooker? I said, not for that price. You want deal? I said, well, what's the deal? I give you 50% off. I'll take it. Amazing rice cooker. Just put the water in, put the rice in, push the button. That's it. Rice done. Oh yeah. They get these from India. I was looking at, they haven't got everything all put up yet. There were boxes and boxes of merchandise, and they're making room. And I was looking at one, and oh my God, the ornate stitching on it and Indian designs. And they don't carry no crap. They take pride in the merchandise that they sell there. As soon as they get it all set up, I'll go back and see if I can get deal. Because same thing like around Christmas time, they had these ornate pillows. And he was telling me that every, I says to him, I says, man, I says, the embroidery on here is beautiful. And he goes, yeah, and it's all done by hand, no machine. I was amazed. I was like, wow, it looked like a machine did it. Of course, I didn't understand the symbols and shit on it, but I guess I need to learn Indian. Because a couple of years ago, they had some throw rugs that were, I'd have been afraid to put them on the floor. They were that beautiful. I didn't check the price, but all done by hand, everything. And like he was telling me, all this merchandise comes from their village, and they like to support the village, kind of keep the revenue. So Did did she have that? It looked like a maraca. My grandmother used to have it. Look like a maraca. She'd stick it in the sock and then do the repairs. She called it a sock darner. I used to take the thing, she'd have a pile of socks, and I'd be beating on the socks going, darn, 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 darn. She'd give me that. Yeah, she'd slip it in the sock and then stitch the hole. You know, back in the days, you know, they came from the Depression. You didn't throw nothing away. Oh, I can imagine. Yeah, that's another between, you know, India and Iraq. And, you know, Qatar is it's big bucks. Big bucks. I was watching a thing the other day. It was how they build a Rolls Royce. And at the end of this documentary or whatever, they said the number one country for Rolls Royces is the Middle East. And they said some sheik over there had 50 of them. I was like, 50 Rolls Royces at, you know, a minimum of $300,000 each. I was like, geez. But yeah, I can imagine what some of the stuff looks like from over there. As a matter of fact, I want to say Saudi Arabia, but I'm not sure. The Cleveland Clinic built a hospital over there. And one of the guys that I'm trying to think what his title was. He was like an engineering or something. When they were building the hospital, he was over there, I think, 2 years, maybe 2.5 years. And the Saudi government flew him over and put him and his family up for 2.5 years. No, didn't cost him a dime. Anything he wanted, it's yours. Food, give me an order. Here you go. Housing all paid. Him and his wife had cars provided to him. Of course, they're rolling in money over there. Shit, their mattresses are stuffed with money. But you know, check this Cop Cam Max out and look at some of the disgusting bullshit. These people are arrested and then these goddamn prosecutors slap them on the hands and send them away. Murderers, thieves. I wanted to puke. I really did. Especially the one guy. He was a suspect in a murder when he was 15 years old. And they finally, after 10 or 12 years, had proof that he did it. But to be, you know, 14, 15 years old, and a double homicide. He went into a tire center and off the manager and the assistant manager. Oh, Jesus. What is this, a nightly thing? Damn it. I forgot to put forgot to make a sign. God bless it. People. It's 8 o'clock at night. Oh, I gotta put that sign up. There are no toys about it. I gotta put that sign up. God. Now my microphone's. Why ain't my microphone up? How come my microphone ain't coloring? What's coloring on that end? How come it ain't coloring on this end? Now what the hell happened? If it ain't one thing, it's another. Jesus. Nah, it was the guy across the street asking me if he can put his car in my driveway for an hour or so. He's expecting a delivery. He's getting some furniture or something. I was like, I don't give a damn. At least he asked. Be my luck, I'd look out and go, what the hell's his car doing in the driveway? He's one of these. He's a retired detective. And he has this thing about parking his car on the street. Like somebody gonna do something to it. So he's getting this furniture delivery and he don't want to put his car on the street. I'm not going nowhere. Go ahead, put it in the driveway. Oh, he's a weird one. A real typical retired detective. Matter of fact, he's such a OCD freak that his girlfriend said, "I can't take you anymore. I'm done." And she not only moved out, she left the state. I think her mother lives in Virginia. Yeah, she got as far away from him as... Oh, you talk about somebody that's OCD. I thought I was a bit OCD. Holy shit. It takes him. Now he has got two shrubs on this side and one big one on the other side. It takes him like all day to trim his shrubs. He'll trim, and then he'll walk back to the curb and look. And then trim a little more, walk back and look. Trim a little more. I'd like to go over there with a big trimmer and just go, there. Oh, you want to see him do his shrubs. Oh, Jesus Christ. You'd think he was painting a Van Gogh or something. Heaven forbid one little sprig is, he walks back to the sidewalk and he looks. He'll get down on one knee. Now I could see why his girlfriend had enough of him. She was like, I'm out of here. If he's like that outside, I can imagine what he's like in the house. And if you go over there, you're not allowed to even step in the door. Like the one day, goddamn snow blowing or that. I forget what I had to go over and ask him. And you think he'd say, well, step in. Nope. Goddamn wind blowing, that snow. And people think I'm crazy. Oh, I'm going to write a note. As a matter of fact, I'm going to write now because I will forget. I'm going to write a note right now. Make signs for side door. Right now. I got the paper right here. Because I will forget. Because I was going to do it today. And you see what happened. Make sign for side door. And then I'm going to tape it right on the monitor so that when I sit down to turn the computer on, it's going to be right in front of my face. It's getting ridiculous. I did very gently tell Mary Ann because I didn't want to hurt her feelings. I says to her, I says, I've been pretty regular with my YouTube at night. She said, oh, really? I says, yeah. Every night religiously now between 7 and 9. She goes, 7 days a week? Oh, yeah. I said, I got to keep my listeners comprised of what's going on. She said, oh, okay. Had to broach that one gently. I didn't want to make her feel bad for interrupting me last night to bring me my salad oil back. And she's like that. I mean, I think it was like 3/4 of a bottle. And I told her, I says, I got olive oil, don't worry. Come over with a brand new, here's your son. I said, Marianne, I was in no hurry for it. I didn't need it. Oh, okay. Next time, bring cookies. No, I didn't say that. Oh, oh God, those cookies were killer. Oh my God. I'll tell you, it was tough. I ate half of them, and it was really hard saving the other half for the next evening. I go to put the lid on the box, I was like, oh, one more. No. Oh, one more. No. They were delicious. I haven't had home baked chocolate chunk cookies like that in eons. And she makes a zucchini bread to die for. Oh. I dropped a hint last summer. I said, I'm going to the store. If zucchini's on sale, should I pick some up? Hint, hint, hint. Well, yeah. Hint, hint. Oh, jeez. It is the best I have ever eaten. That's one thing. She knows how to bake. She bakes like my grandmother. Although she told me she can't do pie crust for shit. I was like, oh, damn it. But anything else, every now and then she'll make corn muffins. Oh. And huge. They're like softballs. I baked some corn muffins. But she has to be in the mood to bake. Now, she made them cookies. She might not make anything for 2 or 3 months now. And then she'll come over with something. Here you go. And she's a strict vegetarian. Oh. And I mean strict. I says to her, I says, how long you been a vegetarian? Since she was 21. I said, what brought this on? She said, I just decided one morning I'm going to be a vegetarian. Really? You woke up one morning and said, that's it? No meat? Nothing? Yep. Cleared out everything in her fridge. And Marianne's probably in her early to mid 50s. Been a vegetarian since she was 21. I gotta have my meat. I'm sorry. Like tonight, my Slovenian sausage. Oh. Yeah, I'm gonna take a break from the hot dogs tonight. Have the Slovenian sausage. Maybe I'll have tonight and tomorrow. And then the knockwurst. And I didn't get a call today. Evidently, they didn't get the other product in. Because they were waiting for the rest of it. Got to get my freebies. I'll be calling that regional manager going, hey, Where's the rest of my freebies? Oh, stop up at the store. Okay. It was amazing how they shut me up. They must have told the supplier, oh man, this guy has been driving us crazy. He called everybody on Earth. The supplier was like, okay, give him one of each. Make him happy. And then the store was like, okay, and we'll supply you with buns for everything. Works for me. And, you know, I didn't do it for the freebies. It was like, you know, you weren't honest with your customers. Don't keep, you know, giving me this paperwork bullshit. Be honest. And, you know, like I told him, I said, nothing insulted people more than you putting fruit in the sausage cooler, and then back in the hot dog cooler, you loaded it up with fucking bagels. I said, that's like a slap in a customer's face. I know you don't want to see empty shelves, but put a sign up. Be honest. And I said, then you'll eliminate having meat on your ass. Because that's what really set me off. Instead of putting a sign up explaining the problem, as the product disappeared, we just start filling the shelves with shit that don't belong there. You know, I says to him, I said, if you would have been honest from the start, you wouldn't have created the worry that you did with a lot of the seniors thinking the store was going to close. And that was the big thing. Everybody was going like, oh, God, this place is going to close. Where am I going to shop? You know, I hate Gigantic Eaglet. If you explain to people, hey, we're having a supplier problem, we're working our hardest on it, sorry for the inconvenience, people will understand. But no, you keep your mouth shut, and you take and you put shit on the shelf that don't belong there because you didn't want empty shelves. Well, I would rather see empty shelves with a sign than you trying to hide things. I guess I don't understand big business anymore. That wouldn't have been the way I did it. I would have explained to my customers, hey, our previous supplier went bankrupt. We're working on getting another one. There's a lot of legal paperwork involved. We're hurrying as fast as we can. I still can't believe it took 8 goddamn weeks. You would think in today's modern day of age that you could sign a contract with a supplier in 2 weeks? Why does it take 8 weeks? I guess I'll never get that answer. I'm going to ask the assistant manager, Tim. I'm going to say, hey, what took so long? I think I know. The owner of Mark's was probably really jewing him down as much as they could for the best prices so that he could make some extra profit. I bet you that's what it was. It was probably a price war going back and forth. Because the owner of that corporation, he's a shrewd businessman. He really is. Although, I give him credit in a way. Because you'll go in that store. The guy's a multimillionaire. He'll be mopping the floor, stocking merchandise, cleaning shelves. He won't tell an employee to do anything that he won't do himself. And he's never, three-piece tailored Gucci suit, nope. Blue jeans, work shirt, sleeves rolled up. I've gone in the store many times and seen him sweeping, stocking a shelf. And it amazes his employees. Because they know the guy's a multimillionaire. He goes around to all his stores. He'll come in, meet with a manager, see if they got any problems, and they'll go, you need any merchandise stocked? Well, we're working on it. And then he goes back in the storeroom and grabs a cart and comes out, stocking shelves, sweeping the store. The one day, he happened to be stocking shelves. And they called for a mop and a bucket up at one of the cash registers because somebody dropped a jar of spaghetti sauce or something. Who goes up to the front with a mop and a bucket? The president of the corporation, the owner. And I says to the one woman, I said, do you know who that is? She goes, no. New employee? I said, that's Mark, the owner. She was like, really? And she looked at, I said, yeah, he owns the corporation. He's up there with a mop and a bucket cleaning up a mess. But that way, if he tells an employee, hey, grab a mop and a bucket and go up front and clean up, even though the employee don't want to do it, they know damn right well that last week he did. I give him credit for that, but I don't like the way he handled this supplier thing. I really don't. And it wasn't just this store. I think he's got like 40 stores, 50 stores, all over Ohio. So it affected everything. And I just didn't like the way it got handled. And I made my feelings known. Matter of fact, it's a riot. A lot of the employees, they know who I am when I come in. Because I still hear it from, boy, you scared the shit out of that bread guy. It's like, well, I got the point across. And then they're asking me, how did you do it? I says, I called the corporate office in Pittsburgh and talked to the vice president of sales and marketing. That's how I got it handled. You did that? Yup. I said, ask the manager. They know me well. Over the years, I've handled a lot of problems in that store. I've also created a lot too. Yeah, you got it, Timmy. You know who I'm talking about. Good old MGI. I had a battle with a bread man. And they give me a rash of crap. The Cleveland, the local office, well, the out in Strongsville. And then I talked to the regional manager for Ohio and got a lot of word salad. And I got pissed off. And I called corporate in Pittsburgh. And now when I go in the store, there's at least 10 loaves of Jewish rye back there. And then if something pisses me off, they know if they don't get it handled at store level, I'll call corporate. And if I don't get the right answers out of corporate, I'll call whoever it is, like Schwabel's Bakery, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Hello? What store's the problem? Store 031. Oh, the one on Lorraine? Yes. You know the store number? Oh, yes. That's all you got to remember. Store 031, and they know. They know what I know what I'm talking about. I enjoyed that battle. I started with the delivery man. And I got a rash of crap from him. So I went to his boss in Strongsville and got a rash of bullshit from him. And then I went with the regional manager for Ohio and got a rash of bullshit from him. So I decided just call corporate in Pittsburgh. And it was amazing. Within a week, bread, Schwabel's Jewish rye, at least 10 loaves in there daily. Because even if I'm not buying a loaf, I walk back and I check. Okay. Every now and then, one of the managers, the assistants, will see me back there and they go, oh, you taking inventory? Yes, I am. Now I got the hot dog and sausage problem handled. On to the next problem. Yeah, after my fight with Square Trade, I was getting kind of bummed out. I didn't have any fights to have. Oh, their Jewish rye is outstanding. That's the only bread I eat. Not to mention it's a big loaf too. It's getting a little pricey, but well worth the price. Yeah, the other day I finally filed all my Square Trade paperwork in the file cabinet. I was like, well, I'm done with this. I enjoyed that battle. Goddamn Ward. Yeah, I'll tell you, I'm going to mention again. Like Walmart and eBay, you will see you want added protection plan, and it'll say Allstate. That's a bunch of bullshit. because Allstate doesn't handle the warranty. It's this company called Square Trade. And they are the biggest bunch of assholes you ever wanted to deal with. You talk about getting a bunch of double talk, and then they won't talk to you on the phone. Oh, we only communicate via email. Well, not me. I got a stack of communications like that thick. And then I finally got it handled. I got my money back and a free TV. And not one that I wanted. So when they stuffed that TV up my ass, I sold it. Because I told them, I don't want that TV. See, they made their mistake when they said, we will give you 3 choices. And then the next day, we are shipping you this Hisense TV. That wasn't one of my 3 choices for one. And you didn't even give me my 3 choices. You just jammed the TV up my ass. So when I got my money back, I went out and I bought the Samsung. And then I sold the Hisense. Tell me you get your choice of 3 TVs, and then the next day you say, well, sorry, we're shipping you one. Well, I didn't want another goddamn Chinese-made TV set. So I got a Mexican-made one instead. And so far, the TV that the Frito Bandito made is working a lot better than the one from Hop Sing. Jose did a good soldering job on my new TV. Now watch, I just jinxed myself because I didn't take the warranty on this one. Anytime you see that Allstate protection plan, it ain't worth it. Because, for one, they do not like giving you money. They danced me around every way possible to try to avoid paying that claim. Well, they were screwing with the wrong person. You know, what I should have done, we could have had a nightly series. I should have read every one of the emails that was sent to me. And you never got the same person twice. And they were all Pakistani. I had every Pakistani name, Patel, and you. And then if I would email Patel back, then the next day, I got a different Pakistani name. And you email that one back and you get it. You never, it was like, hey, it's your turn to handle this asshole. And then accidentally, one of them called me one day. And that was all I needed because I had a phone number. So I just started calling. And then the bitch who was out in California who was vice president of regional sales or regional warranty. She accidentally called me one day, and I got her phone number. And I left her 50 voicemails in one day. Because they give you a phone number, but they don't answer their phone. And it was amazing. I left 50 voicemails. The next morning, 9 o'clock, well, what the hell time was it? 9 o'clock their time would have been noon here. She calls me, please, stop leaving me voicemails. I said, well, then handle my goddamn claim. You'll have an answer in 24 hours. I says, well, if I don't, there'll be 100 voicemails the next day. It was amazing. The next day, claim closed, refund, and a TV set that I didn't want. Then after I got done with that fight, God, it was a couple of months before I got into a fight over something that, what the hell did I get in a fight over? There was something in between the bread person. Oh. Yeah. My argument with, what the hell's that goddamn hardware store? Ace. Over replacing a Craftsman socket. That they didn't carry that size. Because it was an oddball. 19 millimeter, I think. And they didn't want to replace it. And I got into an argument with the store out in North Olmsted. And then I got into an argument with the regional manager for Ohio. And then I called Ace Hardware Corporate. And it was amazing. 2 days after my call, UPS is at my door with my socket. They told me I abused it. Have you really taken a look at Craftsman sockets? Like sockets that you bought 10 years ago versus today? They're half the thickness. How do you expect a socket to last if it's half the thickness? First time I used it, snap. And they told me, you abused that socket. Why don't you come over to my house? I'll abuse you. Oh, yeah, Kathy, it's not like back in the day. You made a phone call and that was done. Now, the only way to get things done is you got to keep going up the goddamn chain. Keep going over people's heads. Me? No. If I don't get an answer, I go to corporate. Then the regional manager from Ace calls me and says, why didn't you call corporate? Because you weren't doing your goddamn job. That's why. Because I bet you he got an ass chewing. I'm too old for this shit. And, today, It's not like the customer's always right. Nah, they don't give a shit. Like with that idiot from CBS. Girl told me to go fucking shop somewhere else. And then the manager said, she's my best employee. Holy shit. If that's your best, I'm glad I wasn't dealing with the worst one. And you know, she's still working to this day. If I would have told the customer to F off back in the day, I'd have been looking for another job. Oh no, she's my best employee. I can't believe she said that. Well, I got witnesses. There were 4 senior citizens in line behind me. When she told me, you know, if you don't fucking like it, go fucking shop somewhere else. They put their merchandise on the counter and walked out with me. She's my best employee. I no longer go into CVS. Any of them. As much as I hate Walgreens. Walgreens is another one. God damn, you need to take out a loan when you go in there to buy something. That's why they call me the grumpy old man. Oh, oh, oh. You know, the problem is when, like, Ace was a small outfit, they were okay to deal with. But when they get that corporate mentality and they expand, you know, across the nation, they don't give a shit. You tell them, I ain't shopping here anymore, and they're like, okay, have a nice day, we don't care. Any national chain I hate dealing with. But you know, the days of the mom and pop hardware stores are... I really hate dealing with Home Depot, but you got to get your hardware somewhere. Although the girl didn't appreciate me buying my washer online. Well, sure, I'm going to buy it online. I got it $500 cheaper online. No, $300 cheaper. I couldn't believe it. The difference between the online price and the store price was $300. Why would people go in a store knowing that? I looked at the price. I looked at the machine in the store, and it was $8.99 for a basic, what they call a basic washer. And then I decided, well, let me see if they got anything different online cheaper. And there was my machine, $300 cheaper online. The same one because I wrote all the information down before I left the store. Why would somebody walk in that store and pay that price? Mainly because they're too goddamn stupid to go online because they think, well, store, online, Same price. Not. Oh, I gotta show you this lock that I'm gonna put on my dresser drawer. I have never seen a key. Now you probably can't see it. Let me see if I can. It's not going to focus. It's a four-sided key. I've never seen a four-sided key. That way you can't pick it. A four-sided key. Amazing. Got it off of Temu. $4. I looked at that and I was like, four-sided key. Oh, I'm going to order one of these. Lock my dresser. All I got to do is cut a little notch in the top and just drill a half-inch hole. And then make sure I hide the key. And it has a little, looks like a disc till you open it up. Now that I'm so happy with it, I'm going to order a couple more. The only problem is if you lose the key, you can't get a duplicate. Because it's four-sided. And I've never seen a four-sided key. And it's quality. I mean, it's not no cheap-ass assembly. I'm really impressed with it. I'm going to order a couple more. That way I can lock a couple more drawers. Oh. I'm a rotten bastard. Well, I think it's getting close to Slovenian sausage time. Let's see if we can get the damn tablet to cooperate. Yeah, Jenny, the last thing you ever want to do is disrespect me. Oh. I'll tell you what. I have gone off on management and made them more nervous than a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs. Come on, tablet. Uh-oh. It don't want to turn on. What the hell? It don't want to turn on. I charged it before I used it today. Come on. Nope, here it goes, starting to fire up. I don't know why it shut down. Although, I'll tell you what, the battery... And the shame of the matter is, that's the major problem with this thing, is the battery is going. But you can't replace it. You know, throwaway society. When the battery wears out, you throw the tablet away. What? the processor and the memory and everything is working fine. It's a damn battery. Let me see if it's taken forever to fire up. Because all I did was play the intro music. And I set it over there and it went into standby and then it shut off. Let's see what I got left for a battery in this short time. If it ever boots up. Ooh, we might not be getting no music. 4%. It was fully charged. And all I played was... Now, see? Powering off. Yeah. That's how bad the battery... I should have left it plugged in. I mean, I got the damn cable right here. I didn't think it was going to sap that fast. Usually it doesn't. Well, time to transfer the music to the new tablet. It's telling me it's had enough. It's never gone like that. It's never dropped that far to the point where it won't even stay on. And you know, you would think that there would be a way of replacing the battery. I'm sure there is. But you'd probably break the damn thing taking it apart. And my new rollerball mouse. But it is sensitive. Oh man, is it sensitive. But I like it so far. I've only been using it for an hour or so. Okay, peoples. Thanks for hanging in with me. No outro tonight. We tried. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.